Like, you know what's more requested than an in-game trade house? A better new player experience. And they are getting better at it, but damn, it's not like they have a team for it, clearly, because it's still pretty garbage. The new player experience in this game is horrible. You know what my new player experience was? Chat. If I didn't have chat, man, I would have been on YouTube more, and I would have probably sat on the wiki all day, but I got lucky, and I have you guys here to help me figure it out along the way, because there's just so much information, you know? And that would be an even bigger quality of life, but the reason they haven't done it, the reason they haven't completely overhauled it is because it's a lot of work. There's no immediate return on their investment for that. I mean, there could be one long term, but I don't know if they see that. I would guess not. I think DE is a great company, but I just think they don't see things like that because it's not immediately valuable. And the reason I know they don't see that is because you don't see it in the game. It's not in the product. The new player experience should be a top priority? Yes, it should. Trading, I think, is like a close second or third, man. But yeah, I think the new player experience is far more important. Yeah, scamming is someone buying a rank 5 Energize and I trade him an Arcane Acceleration. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. If you say, hey, I'm going to sell it for this and he wants to buy it, then that's what it is. I'm saying that it's not because they're scared of it, but because they're scared of the amount of time it would take to even make it work. I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah. It's too much. It's too much responsibility. It's just too much work. It's not like, well, it's probably my fault because I didn't articulate it well enough, but it was simply an example of the fact that if something were to go wrong, if there was a massive scam, if they would have to do something about it or say something about it, whereas right now they can just not, and they don't have to act like everyone else is responsible. They just literally don't have to say anything because it's not their problem. A scam would be selling something for an increased price, knowing it's not worth that much, and telling the player they're getting a good deal. It's why stuff like Call is dead. It's not financially beneficial to do Call content and keep doing the new thing. I don't know, man. I kind of agree with that, but at the same time, if that's the case, then we're all getting scammed. But no, I don't think it is. If you put something up for market value and somebody's willing to pay it, then they're willing to pay it. It's the same reason why people buy a brand new iPhone every year, and I just got a new phone because my provider gave me one for free, but before that, I kept mine for 5-6 years. Or if I wanted it, like my iPhone, I got one and it's a camera now, I got it used, right? It's like people make their own informed decisions, and we kind of have to trust people for that. Yeah, there is a line there where it's like, to a degree, it's scamming if they're to a certain level of uninformed, like taking advantage of the elderly for like a Nigerian print scam, but at the same time, the guy who's overpaying for something isn't necessarily getting scammed because he hasn't done the research, right? Rebecca admitted this years ago when responding to people asking them to fix the old content. They just can't do that. The scam is when you put it up for an agreed amount of price and sell it for a different price. Yeah, that's fine too, but if two people agree on a price and somebody's buying and somebody's selling, it's fine. If that wasn't the case, like, I don't know. Like PvP as well, they don't have any intention of improving PvP at all. Let me see this. Johnny said something, sorry. It's less fun if someone just lists all the shit you can do in the game. I've scared so many friends off doing that. Either you instantly fall in love with the game or you quit after a week. I don't know, man. I don't even think that's true. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really agree with that either, because I have a friend right now who I tried to get to play this game and he refused to play it. He said absolutely not. He tried it and didn't like it. His girlfriend that he got decided to play Warframe. She's been playing it a lot, apparently. And then he got into it again because, you know, he's a good boyfriend. And now, in the last 2 weeks, he's put 120 hours in the game. And I asked him, I said, what happened? And he said, well, it got a lot better around 50 hours. And Warframe is unironically one of those games where it gets better the longer you play it. Obviously, it plateaus at some point, right? Of course, like everything does. Like, you can only maximize your fun to a degree, right? I mean, I still enjoy it, absolutely. But it's not the same as, like, that uphill thing your first few months to a year. But you get sucked in. If it sucks you, man, you get sucked. Hey, Solstice, what's going on? And I'm drained? Yeah, get some sleep, man. Yeah, what's going on, man? All with Plat? Cough, cough? Oh my god, okay. New player experience is a good idea, but it's really so much better than it was 6 years ago. I'm not saying the new experience is worse than it was, or is better or worse than it was before. I know it's better, but just because something's better doesn't mean it can't be improved further. Like, I'm glad they're making strides, right? But if it were a top priority, a team would be on Warframe new player experience instead of making a whole other game, you know? Or I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like, if it's worth the investment to them, they would hire people to take care of it, you know? What was that thing I read up there earlier? What was it? New player experience should not be top priority. Realistically, the new players get treated like they're a lot smarter than they are, and it's not a bad thing. But it does need to be a bit more direction early on. I think the new player experience is probably the most important thing in the game. I think with over 10 years of content in the game, it's about time you start making content for the people who actually want to get into the game but don't, because the game just doesn't give the right impression. question. It really doesn't. Quicc, have you ever tried playing Warframe with stamina and not being able to bullet jump? I played Warframe for a couple of hours in 2015? On my Xbox, and I don't remember about it. I just remember how the game looked, and I actually really liked it back then. I just didn't have internet. And I was honestly, I was doing this thing where I had my laptop open. I would sign in with this. Wait, you try playing Warframe with stamina and not being able to bullet jump. Are you saying that I should? Like, I don't understand. I don't know. Who's side for Warframe 1999? Me. Man, I really am. I think everybody here is. Clarify, Logan. Yes, I'm not going to play that. No, I'm not going to play that because they don't have the, what was that mechanic called? Ginger. What was that mechanic that you had to do like 10 years ago before bullet jumping where you had to like, what Destiny 2 players do right now? Coptering. Yeah, I was talking about coptering, boys. Yes, thank you. Sorry. All right, what was that? New player experience is a good idea, but it's really so much better than it was 6 years ago. I think that the test still needs to be there. Warframe should challenge your patience for grinding because you're gonna do it for a while, but that Warframe doesn't do it right now. Make the grind hard to understand rather than to endure. My problem is I just feel like, yeah, coptering is right. Thank you, boys. I just think that for a new player, the game doesn't really give you enough information. A lot of the time, like, it doesn't, like, the tools are there. A lot of it's in the UI. It's weird. Like, it's a lot better now ever since they did the damage changes. Like, everything is a lot less complicated. Let me actually go over here. And it's a lot easier to understand, in my opinion, because you have Pokemon type damage now, right? Like, you have this faction is weak to this, it's strong to this, it's resistant, right? And then you have, like, neutral things where it's just damage. And they all, like, all the damage types do different things, but it is far easier to understand now, which is wonderful. But it still doesn't make clear to a new player like how to mod. It seems like such a weird thing when somebody comes into the game and they have to ask, what the do I put on my weapon? And then we always tell them, right? We say like damage, probably crit, but it's like, when is crit? If it's above a certain number. When do you go status? If it's above another number and you got like a certain fire rate, you know, it's a lot, and a lot of people have no idea, and the game doesn't guide you at all. And I really appreciate that the game, like, Warframe is one of the best menu sandbox games I have ever played. I'm telling you, it is on par with me. For me, it's on par with like Monster Hunter. It's so damn good, dude, but it's just not as clear, right? Love the bow you get after the new war quest. AoE is broken. Yeah, Netherrack is nice, man. That's it, right? Yeah, I think, yeah. The only reason I started playing the game is because I left Destiny 2. Hey, welcome, dude, welcome. Doesn't matter what you put, you can just auto mod, and you still have until Steel Path to read your cards. The amount of the amount of things that the game doesn't tell you. Guys, just yesterday, or 2 days ago, I was modding my weapon, and how many times do I ask for your guys' opinion, because one, you have valuable opinion most of the time, and then other times you guys actually say, ignore this number, ignore the total number, because it doesn't actually matter. It doesn't matter because the damage here in the menu is not reflective of what's actually going to happen in the game, you know? I don't know how they would make this right. Like, I don't know if there'd be a way, I don't, like, my only thought process is like a simulacrum for new players where they can go in, shoot the enemies. They have like preset damage scaling and they can try their own loadouts, and then the game can also recommend loadouts. Like, I almost feel like early game weapons for a new player should come pre-modded and almost have like a justification for it. That way people understand how all these multipliers or how all these numbers come together, whether or not they are a multiplier or they're additive to each other, like how they work, you know? First it was dual Zoran, then it was Zoran coptering, then it was Orthos coptering. Okay. Also the fact that you can get a speed up so much from stuff with plat and then impressive being a pay to win game, even though it totally isn't. Well, that's also another thing that I can't stand about Warframe, because Warframe is not at all in the slightest a pay to win game, but it definitely looks like one. Like, I had to tell my brother, I don't know how many times when he started playing, because I started playing in April, guys, end of March, and I got my brother to play it for a couple of weeks, and he was averse to it the whole time, and I kept telling him that it's not pay to win. Like, you just play the game, it's not a big deal. You'll get your plat. You just wait 3 days for your craft. Like, it's no big deal. I hope you log in to like claim your part after 12 hours and then start your craft so you don't forget. Like, I've talked about the crafting system system too. Like, it's just not new player friendly at all. Because my first time playing, like my first couple of days, I actually almost quit the game, guys. I almost quit. The only reason I didn't, straight up, the only reason I didn't quit the game is because of Warframe Flow and his like new player guide. And he made that guide in such a convincing way that he sold the game to me in that series. And that was probably like, for the first month, that was like the only Warframe content I consumed, you know? So it wasn't even the game that kept me in. It was a content creator. It was a community. And then I looked into the Reddit a little bit and I saw a lot of cringe. And then I saw a lot of other, and I was like, okay, this is actually kind of a funny community. It's a cool community. Like, nobody's being pieces of shit in there either. You go into the game, everyone's nice. They want to help you. I just don't understand, man. Like, for new players, I don't know, for the first 7 days, have no crafting times. 4 days, 2 days, I don't know. Up to a certain MR, certain items, I don't care. I don't know, man. When DE saw that community was using those tricks to improve movement speed, DE made an overhauled movement system. You can also do crafting in Warframe Mobile companion app, actually Warframe Mobile on iOS. Yeah, Warframe Mobile is very impressive, and that's another thing. Like, the whole app, the game runs amazingly. I would pull it up and play it right now, but my iPhone is my camera, because that's literally all iOS is good for. But anyway, moving on. That and play Warframe. But anyway, yeah, anyway. I don't know, man. I think this is a wonderful game, but it definitely doesn't sell itself enough in the game. The gameplay does, but it doesn't do it enough later on, man. It really needs a massive new player experience. I'm telling you guys, like, I work with apps on a regular basis, and my biggest focus in this, and it should be a focus for every company who makes a product, or at least tech products, is the new player experience, the new user experience.